So these are some of the inside parts of the stove that I've just used the wire wheel on, get all the dust and rust, and I'm just giving them a good coat of the black heat treat paint. I have found that, and I kind of suspected this when I first started this project, the spray goes very quick and it's not cheap, and you need several coats, especially for something that was as rusty as this stove. So I went with the paint on, and to be honest with you, maybe if I used a different brush would have been better, but on the first several that I started with on the outside, I did not get a very good finish at all. It was pretty crappy, but I was trying to cover a lot, and that's why I went with the brush on first. And then I did go back and use the spray, and I sprayed over it with the black heat treated paint, and that did help a lot, but it's still not perfect. But again, as I said when I first started this is not a restoration. This is just a we're just gonna get it fixed back up, make it look nice, and seal it up, and try to keep it in action and working as it should. Seal up all that rust, make it look better, get it all put back together, and put it to use. So here we're getting a lot closer. Finally got the top on. I was dreading that a little bit, but it was not bad. I still kept a lot of the old kind of patina on it, if you will. I ground it down best I could, got all the rust off, and then after I went ahead and repainted, you can still see there was quite a bit of pitting in the cast here all the way around, just especially right on top. And I'm sure that's just where it sat outside. That's where I found it, at this farmer's house, and you can see how that just probably sat there and rusted for quite a while and pitted. But I wanted to kind of leave it that way. It's an old stove, and I wanted to have that old character, but I wanted to take it apart, paint it, and preserve it the best I could. So this is where we're at. Still got to get that oven thermometer back in, and then now we got to start working on the top part, the back with the shelves and the side shelves. As far as the trim pieces go, most of those would have been nickel plated, and that's just crazy expensive, and for what I'm going to do, it's just not worth it. I'm going to use some high heat paint in an accent color, maybe a silver or something like that. That way it'll still look nice and give it a nice dress up, but not going to do the nickel plating at this point. So these doors and everything turned out real nice. So we're making some really good progress on the stove. This is the thermometer that goes in the door. It's still pretty rough. You can see it's pitted really bad. So it does work though. So I am using a Dremel and just using this tiny little brush here, and you can already see how much that looks better already. Glad I got safety goggles on. That's coming out not bad at all. It's never going to be perfect, but I'm going to probably take some buffing compound and then use a polishing wheel and go over it with the buffing compound and see what else we can do to bring that out. Coming to the end here. Now I've just got to paint the trim pieces around these shelves. I've got the other trim pieces that I've already painted. Normally the trim would all be nickel plated. I don't know about where everybody else is, but here in Ohio it is extremely expensive, especially for a small amount of parts. So I opted not to do the nickel plating, and I went with the silver high heat paint Rust-Oleum, and I'm just rattle canning it. So far the finish is looking pretty good. I'm doing 4 coats on the trim. Hopefully that will withstand the heat from this stove. Still got to get just a couple parts. I'm missing one trim piece that did not come with the stove when I purchased it, and I still got to get the firebox liner, and I should be good to go then. And I have sourced those parts when I started this, but with COVID, everything got put on hold. So I need to reach out to the guy and see if he still has those. If not, I'll have to work on another source. All right, I'm gonna let that dry for a while, come back and hit that about 3 more times. Then I can take all the tape off the top. Once this all cures up overnight, I'll be able to put these shelves on. We'll be just about done. Okay, all the trim pieces are on. Got these little side shelves that go up here. The only thing I'm missing is this little tiny trim piece right here. So we'll have to see if we can get that. But as you can see, there's the shelf. Even got the handles for the stove door here. You can see inside the oven, inside where the firebox is at. Now, I just have to figure out how I'm gonna move it and fire it up. But that's been a very nice project over the last few months. Kind of anticlimactic at the end, not showing it being fired up, but I'm gonna have to get it moved before I can do that. So once we get it in place, we'll do that. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.